Okay, Unheard Gems. Today we get to talk with an amazing music duo called NÄM. So, my first question for you guys is, when did you first know you wanted to pursue music, and when did you start music?
I've been playing music generally since I was like 8, and I wanted to pursue it. I guess when I was like 15, I started writing songs every day, just like acoustic guitar and vocals, And then really, once I met Nora like 3 years ago, that kind of changed everything, like, making music-wise, because I just produced stuff with her on my laptop and guitar, and I don't know, it's just very different from playing in a band, which is what I did up until I met her and started this project.
And yeah, I mean, I guess on my end, I think that I've definitely always been interested in music. I've always known that I wanted to pursue music in some way, in one way or another. I used to be in like children choirs when I was young, and I had like singing lessons and all these things. And I was never really that interested in learning how to play an instrument, so I always kind of like focused on vocals and try to find people that I could collaborate with. And it just like, I mean, I guess when I was like a teenager, I kind of like lost my the like intensity of inspiration that I had for music a little bit. I was very like preoccupied with other things, and then it kind of came back a couple of years ago. So when meeting Sam and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely been something that I've had in my heart since like I can remember forever. So yeah.
So then, how did you guys decide to become a duo? Like, how did you meet and decide this is something you wanted to do together?
We met online, actually. We met on like a musician website platform thing. And like at first we weren't even in the same country, actually. I was in Berlin, Germany, and he was in Tennessee. And so we would just kind of like send files back and forth to each other. We'd like kind of come up with like an idea, and then I'd send him like something, or he'll send me something per email. And then
I was like, at the time, I just had like a SoundCloud profile, and I was just like making hip hop beats and like, really bad like remixes of songs and stuff, just messing around on my laptop trying to make music. And I found Nora online. There's like a YouTube video of her singing, and it was really amazing. And so I just like got her email and kept sending her stuff, and she would send me stuff every once in a while, just like recorded on her iPhone. Just kind of, I think like 6 months later, or a few months later, we actually met in person, and then we just kind of like slowly tried to figure out how can we do this, how can we pull it off live, like how can we do what we're doing now.
That's amazing. And so your music is incredible, and I feel like it's really different than a lot of what I have heard, especially like on mainstream radio. So how would you describe your music style, genre, like where do you pull that inspiration from?
Dang.
A lot of different places.
Yeah.
Inspiration is like a weird thing, because I think that, like, I mean, I'm inspired musically a lot, obviously, like different musicians that I want to be like in some certain way, but I think I'm also inspired by musicians that I don't like necessarily want to copy their sound at all. I'm just inspired by a very specific way that they perform, maybe, or just their persona, the way that they I don't know, do certain things. And so I guess like we would describe our general genre, I guess, as like indie electronic or something, but I think it's a mixture of a lot of different things.
Yeah, I approach it like we're just kind of songwriters that happen to use a laptop, and sounds off the internet. And I also play guitar like live, and on a lot of like, that's how we write a lot of stuff, just get the bare bones of the song down. Like essentially just like playing chords on the guitar and then Nora sing a melody over that. Like it's not that simple, but that's basically the nuts and bolts of like what makes the song to me. And then everything else is like inspiration is just what I think sounds cool. I'll just like drag sounds from the internet, sometimes pre-recorded, sometimes stuff I've recorded, and just mess around with it on the computer until it sounds awesome.
Awesome. And then sort of like piling on top of that, so like is there any like particular artist or sort of like sounds you're influenced by like heavily in your music?
Yeah, I guess like right before I met with Nora is like when artists like Flume and Odessa were just starting to get big, and that was like really inspiring to me, because, and I don't know, just like Yeah, there's so many. Like I've been in like punk rock bands, I've been in grindcore bands, I've been in like folky bands. I listen to everything. I just like really good tunes. Like I'll always listen to the newest like Taylor Swift single when it comes on the radio, just because it's so interesting to me. Just like a really good catchy tune. I don't really care what genre it is. That's the stuff that just like turns me on musically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I really like trip hop a lot. I like Chet Faker. There's a very obscure artist from Berlin, Germany. Her name is Alice Phoebe Lou, and she's been like one of my biggest inspirations that I've ever like really had the chance to listen to. So, but her music is not really related to ours. It doesn't really sound like ours. It kind of goes back to what I was saying. It's just like a very specific thing about what she does that like really inspires me. And I try to bring back to like the music that we're making, but it's not necessarily like it sounds the same. But yeah.
So what is your process, both lyrically and when you like mix the songs? Do you have like a sort of routine that you do, or is it sort of organic and different every time?
It's organic and different every time. I'm going to steal that line because we get asked that a lot, and that's like a really good way to describe it. Organic and different every time.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely it's very different every single time. I mean, sometimes we like jam together and we actually like organically make music in the same room, but we still, even though we live in the same city now, we still like occasionally will send files back and forth to each other, and we have like a platform online on which we kind of just like put our ideas on there, and then the other person can listen to it whenever like they have time or the space to do so without having to like really be in the same room to do that.
Yeah, and a lot of times like we'll have kind of a catchy idea for a song, which is really just like Nora vocally just singing a melody and like a certain hook or a certain chorus, and like I'll sit on that kind of forever and just like try out different things behind what I like, just until it like really kind of all clicks together and comes together.
So then, just for me, because I first heard about your music on your EP Umlaut, so how is that different from your new EP Body Lotion?
Yeah, I guess it's just like our progression of sound, of like the different things that we've learned, the things that we've learned and the things that we want to like progress in making. Like I think we're still trying to figure out what sound we have, if any. And I think it's just getting hopefully closer to, I don't know.
I know like the new EP, I was less obsessed with like when we put the first EP out, we were both kind of just like trying to make really poppy, like kind of jump out of, the speakers and like punch you in the face, kind of like really super melodic stuff. And the new EP, like I just wasn't as concerned with that. So there's like slower songs and like kind of sadder lyrics, and yeah. I don't know. We definitely didn't like think about it before we made it. We were just like kind of making songs, and we made a bunch of stuff, and it's a bunch of stuff you're never going to hear. We only picked like, the best of the best, and that's what's on that EP.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so what has been your most surreal experience as a musician so far?
Surreal?
Yeah, like what's the most sort of like I guess what's the most different out of the ordinary experience you've had so far?
Probably when I woke up a few days after we put Face out on Spotify, I woke up and I was just like standing in my house, like just like any other morning, like in my underwear, and looking at my phone and seeing that it had gone like globally viral, and we had like thousands of plays already. And yeah, just the fact that it got on all these Spotify, like really mainstream playlists just immediately was pretty surreal.
Yeah.
I didn't even like feel excited or anything. I don't even know how to describe it. It was just, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
No, I remember that moment as well. That was a really special moment. Surreal.
Probably performing live.
Definitely,
like the first couple shows were really trippy. I felt like it's so nerve wracking because I have no idea. Like I've been playing in bands forever, and like when you play in a band, you know what it's gonna sound like. I didn't even know if what we were doing was possible to do on stage. We're just like kind of figuring all that out as we went. I didn't even know if Nora would be able to perform on stage because she'd never really done it much before.
Yeah. No, that's still something that I'm learning how to do and learning more about every day. But yeah, I think even just like collaborating in general is kind of a surreal experience for me musically.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to get used to, and it's different than I feel like you would imagine it to be, and it's something that you have to adapt to, and I don't know, it's a process, and I think it's really exciting. But I've learned so much just going through that process. So yeah, I don't know. Life is surreal in general. Everything is surreal.
Okay, so I have one final question, and that would be, if you both were to recommend to all of our listeners a growing musician, artist, producer, anyone that you think we should listen to or look for coming up, who would it be?
Oh, wow.
For me, it would definitely be Alice Phoebe Lou.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Oh man, I'm gonna so regret this later because I know I'm gonna think of somebody I really wish I'd recommended. Can't really think of anything.
Maybe like
I would recommend, like Austin Band.
Capiac is an
Or
amazing
the
band.
Bishops. The Bishops are good. Full disclosure, they're managed by the same people that manage us. But they're a cool local like hip hop kind of pop act. They're actually the reason why we got our management and we got like a lot of these opportunities. Was because of the Bishops, because I messaged them on SoundCloud because I just really liked them, and then they were just really well connected and helped us out a lot in the beginning.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for your time, and I really loved talking to you guys, and everyone on Unheard Gems hopes to hear more from you guys soon.
Yeah, totally. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.